Hey YouTube family, welcome back. My name is Emma. Thank you so much for being on my channel. We are gonna get started. Today's class is kind of like a 30-minute eagle-based flow. So we're gonna get started in a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to sit on a block, feel free. Otherwise, cross-legged is great, half lotus, full lotus. Notice how your energy is today. If you need a little bit more grounding, go palms down. If you need a little bit of uplifting, receive some energy, go palms face up. You can wiggle around a little bit, roll your shoulders back and down a few times, and then start to find some stillness. So finding a comfortable yet active, attentive seat. So feeling a gentle lift through the crown of your head without too much engagement in your body. Imagine one vertebrae stacking on top of the other every time you breathe in, finding length. Every time you breathe out, feel those shoulders melt. Start to lengthen your breath. Breathe all the way into your low belly and breathe all the way out, lengthening your exhale. Again, long inhale. Maybe a little pause at the top, and long exhale. Take a few more rounds just like that. Can you imagine your inhales kind of like a fishing line, kind of casting that out, grabbing at your thoughts that might be wandering, and your exhales, reeling that fishing line back in. And one more breath. And start to seal your lips if you haven't. Find an ujjayi breath, even in, even out through your nose. Gentle contraction in the back of your throat. Turn your palms to face down if they're not already, and just draw some circles with your neck. Go one direction to start. Anywhere that feels a little weird, crunchy, tight, pause there, and then go the other way. Now make those circles bigger. Try to move your entire torso. Keep going in that same direction. You were just going in with your neck. Kind of moving from your sternum. And then go the other way. Come back through center, reach both arms up, open your eyes if you haven't already. Left hand down, extend your right arm up and over. Roll out your wrist a little bit here. Now sink your sitting bones, pull your ribs in. Sweep your right arm forward across the front of your mat until the right hand is on the other side of your mat. Sweep your left arm up and over. Roll out your wrist a bit. Sink your left sitting bone, pull your ribs in. And then lead with your left arm. Sweep it forward and over to the left. Big inhale, reach. And exhale, sweep across. Inhale, reach. Take this a few times with your breath. Feel free to pause anywhere. It feels really nice. And gradually feel like you're making space in your body. The next time you come through center, pause, reach your fingertips forward, press into the finger pads, lift your palms, drop your head. Feel free to wiggle around a little bit, side to side. And then walk your hands back towards you. Fingertips behind you and pointing back. Again, tighten your hands, push your chest forward and up, lift your chin. and release. Let's switch the legs, opposite shin in front, just to keep it even. Inhale, reach both arms out and up, and exhale, twist to your left. Right hand on your knee. You could even go back of the right hand, pushing into the left knee. Maybe even a fist if that feels good. Sometimes I feel like I can get a little bit more push, more strength with a fist. Keep your right hand, right arm where it is, left arm up and over. Grab your opposite knee and round your back. Feel space between your shoulder blades. Then keep that right arm on the bottom. Eagle arms, backs of the hands together or double cross your arms. Lift your elbows up, pull your ribs down for 3, 2, 1. You might even round your back forward, bring those eagle arms down towards the floor. And then come back up. Unwind your arms and reach your arms up. Twist it over to the right. And you could go left hand, palm, back of the hand, or a fist. Look over your right shoulder. And keep your left hand where it is, right arm up and over. Grab your opposite knee. Round your back. Keep your elbows crossed, eagle arms. Elbows up a bit, gentle tuck of your chin. Feel the back of your neck lengthen, big inhale. Exhale, round your back, maybe even drop your forearms towards the mat. Unwind your arms, plant your hands in front of you, tabletop position. Spread your fingers out. On your inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, round. 2 more, cat-cow. Feel that contraction in the back of your throat, ujjayi breath. Neutral spine, bring your knees together. Extend your right leg back behind you, roll out your ankle. So the left knee is kind of in the middle. Swing your right leg off to the left. Look over your left shoulder, try to find your heel. Then drop your right knee behind your left knee. I'm going to kick your feet kind of away from each other and start to push your hips back, kind of like a Gomukhasana. You might even have to walk the hands back a little bit. Shift your weight forwards and backwards a few times here. That left leg is on top or in the front. Shoulders over wrists. Tuck or lift your right knee up, kind of come out the same way you got in. So right leg straight behind you. Then I want you to lift your right toes, bend your knee. So you're kind of hugging your right heel up towards your butt. Keep your right hand where it is. Take your left hand back and maybe grab your right foot. If you've got it now, kick it over to the right. So evening out the hips, plug your right shoulder back. Breathe here, 3, 2, 1. Keep your right leg lifted, plant your left hand on the mat. Tuck your left toes and send your right leg up behind you to a 3-leg dog. Bend your knees, stack up your hips, and then move your right leg around. Big circles or small, you can bend and straighten. Try to avoid dumping into the left shoulder, so press evenly through your palms, squeeze your left leg. Big inhale, square it off. Exhale, take a soft step forward. Find your runner's lunge. Spend a few moments here bending and straightening your legs. And then drop your left knee. Reach both arms up, inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Left hand to your knee. Outer hip squeeze in. Melt your shoulders away from your ears. Imagine your right arm wrapping around to give yourself a hug, and now you've got eagle arms again, the left arm on the bottom. Lift your elbows up and lean back. Think triceps away from your chest. If you can, keep your eagle arms as you take a half split. If not, place your hands on the mat. Flex your right toes. Take some rounding out of your back. So inhale, sternum lift. Exhale, maybe you fold and twist a little bit to the right for 3, 2, 1. Release your arms, hands down, bend your right knee and bump it forward to a standing L. Lift your left leg up behind you. Flex your left foot. Feel your right side waist lift a little bit, like you're turning to the right. Step your left foot behind your right foot so your ankles are crossed. Walk your hands over to the right. Inhale back through center. Keep your ankles crossed. Rise, reach all the way up to stand. Grab your left wrist and lean over to the right. Kind of squeeze your right oblique. Pull your bottom ribs down. Inhale back up center. Now uncross your legs. Cactus your arms and lean back. Push your hips forward. Draw your shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back right foot, then left foot to a plank. Shift your weight forward and slow lower all the way to your belly for 3. Feel free to drop your knees. 2, 1. Bring your feet out a little wider and roll up to a cobra pose. Pin the shoulders back, hug your elbows in, firm up your glutes. Press back, child's pose. Knees out wide and forehead down. Come back to your active breathing in and out with a little contraction in the back of your throat. Let's come up again to a tabletop position and bring your knees together. Extend your left leg back behind you, roll out your ankle. Then swing your left leg off to the right, place the toes down, look over your right shoulder. Drop your left knee behind your right knee, kind of kick your feet away from each other and start to push your hips back. Maybe the right knee even lifts up off the mat a little bit, like Gomukhasana. Do this a few times, shifting forwards and backwards. All right, shift your shoulders forward over your wrists. Tuck your left toes again, and then kick your right shin so it's behind you. So coming back the same way you got in, bend your left knee and hug your heel towards your butt. Keep your left hand on the mat as you reach your right hand back. Then kick a little bit to the left. Steady, soft gaze, active breath. 3, 2, 1. Release your right hand down, tuck your right toes, find your 3-leg dog. Your left leg stays up. Bend your knee, stack it up, and move that left leg around. Squeeze your right leg. Drive your right heel towards the mat. Avoid dumping into the right shoulder, the right side waist. Feel that lift. Inhale. Exhale, soft step forward. Then straighten your legs a few times. Bounce your hips. Drop your right knee onto the mat and reach both arms up. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana B. Relax your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Maybe even look back at your left hand. And take your left arm up and around like you're giving yourself a hug. Right arm stays on the bottom, eagle arms. Triceps lift. Belly lift, inhale. Exhale, half split. Try to keep your arms. If not possible, don't worry about it. Place your hands on the mat. Otherwise, every inhale, sternum lift. Every exhale, maybe a little bit of a twist to the left. 3, 2, 1. Release your hands to the mat. Bend your left knee, standing splits. Right leg lift up behind you, flex your foot. Try to square off your hips, feel your left hip crease, pull back. Right foot crisscross behind left foot. Walk your hands to the left. Walk your hands through center. Keep your ankles crossed, rise all the way up. Grab your right wrist and lean to the left. Push your hips to the right. Pull your bottom ribs in. Come back through center, uncross your feet, cactus your arms, and curl back. Lighter toes, push your hips forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands down, step back, left foot, then right foot. Exhale, lower just halfway, with or without the knees. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Squeeze your legs. Your heels can be lifted a bit. Don't focus so much on making your legs straight. Focus more on your hips lifting, lengthening your waist and your spine. Can you feel your breath even in, even out? Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Feel free to separate your feet. Turn your pinkies in so you feel some space across your upper back. Sink a little lower, butt back, inhale. Exhale, sweep your arms back and firm up your triceps. Roll your shoulders onto your back and then lift your heels up. Squeeze your ankle bones in, inner thighs in. Try to keep your hands lifted and heels lifted as you start to tip your weight forward towards a tippy toe forward fold. So the arms reaching back. Try to walk your ribs down your thighs. Keep your heels lifted, eventually hands on the mat. So you're in a forward fold with the heels lifted. Now, you might lean some weight forward into your hands and try kind of hopping your feet up towards handstand hops. You could also try a Bakasana, crow pose. Play around a little bit here. Falling out is all part of the practice. When you're ready, you'll step or jump your feet back and take your vinyasa. Some days you got it and some days you don't. Such is life. Wherever you are, do your best not to get frustrated or attached to, the poses and how you think you're doing, if you're doing good or bad. That's not really what it's about. It's about the practice and breathing into whatever shape you're in. Take a big breath in and let it go. Lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Find your warrior one. Reach both arms up. Square off your hips to the front of your mat. Grip less with your toes. Bind your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, dive, humble warrior. Drop inside of your right thigh. Hips a little left, torso a little right. Squeeze your back left leg. Sink your hips more for 3, 2, 1. Inhale up and exhale around to the back, warrior 2. Release your grip. Line your left heel up with your right arch. Relax your shoulders. Great. Inhale, reverse warrior, reach up and back. Keep that nice deep bend. Exhale, side angle. Bring your elbow to your thigh. Your right arm can reach up or extend. Push the outer edge of your right foot down. And scoop your tailbone towards your right heel. Maybe right hand to your waist. Half moon pose. Bump your left hand diagonal from your left pinky toe. Flex your right foot. Gaze down easier, gaze up harder. Squeeze both legs. Feel your butt cheeks squeeze together to externally rotate your hips. Easy to arch the back here, so try to tuck those ribs in. Big inhale. Exhale, start to bend your left knee, take a long step back, and we'll go all the way to Skandasana at the front of the mat. Big bend right knee, flex your left toes. Feel free to use your hands. You might like to open your arms up here, or even take a half wrap or a bind. Turn your chest a little bit to the left, lift your hips slightly, and squeeze that left thigh muscle. 3, 2, and 1. Pivot around to the front, runner's lunge. Wiggle your right foot a little to the right. Let's go ahead and come all the way up to a high lunge crescent warrior. Eagle, wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. Now I want you to think about your right heel dragging you forward, less weight in the left toes. Can you even drag that left foot up behind you until the left knee is lifted up in front? You guessed it, we're going into eagle pose. Left leg up and over the right. Now you can use your toes as a kickstand, or you can double wrap your legs. If you're double wrapping, your torso likes to turn to the right. So try to pull that left hip crease back, square yourself towards the front of your mat. Slide down an imaginary wall behind you. Inhale. Exhale, drop your elbows towards your knees and round your back. Look down at your mat. Keep your arms as long as you can. Unwind your legs. Start to dive your eagle beak down towards the floor, diving eagle. At any point, feel free to place your hands on the mat for standing splits, but the challenge here is to twist a little bit to the right and keep folding. Eventually, hands on the mat, squeeze your belly. Step your left foot behind your right foot, crisscrossed, and walk your hands to the right for a moment. And walk your hands back through center. Uncross your feet. Bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands heart center. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, figure four. It should feel pretty nice. Now you'll take either tree pose, big toe pose, or grab your knee, so modified big toe pose. Your right leg is going out to the right. Regardless of what you're doing, it's an external hip rotation. So squeeze your butt cheeks together to feel your hips externally rotate. If you're flaring your ribs out, tuck those in. Bring your right leg back through center. Left hand to your knee or the outside of your foot, reach your right arm back. Sink your right hip crease, expand your chest. 3, 2. Release your grip and just take a big step back with your right foot. Make sure you line your left heel up with your right arch. We're setting the feet up for reverse triangle. Reach your left arm up and push the ball of your foot down. Come back through center. Reach forward. You want to feel length in both sides and then down, triangle pose. If you're dumping really far forward, walk your hand up more. Scoop your left glute, your left hip under your right. Maybe look up at your right hand, potentially extend your right arm for 3, 2, 1. Walk it over to the right, wide leg forward fold. Hands on the mat, line your fingers up with your toes. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Squeeze your legs, feel your kneecaps lift. Shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, lift up halfway. Walk around to the back of your mat for crooked monkey. Drop your back knee and turn your right toes out. Left hand on the mat, right hand on your right thigh. Melt your hips forward. Push the big toe mound of your right foot down. Now, while you're here, I want you to remember what you did standing. You either did a tree pose, you did a big toe pose, or modified big toe pose. You're going to do that same thing in your modified side plank. Your left hand stays on the mat, or option to go down to your forearm. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Same thing that you did, either tree pose variation, grab your knee, or grab your big toe. If that's too much, you can just float your right leg, or even just grab a regular side plank. Stay where you are, or release and step your right foot behind you for wild thing. Push your left foot into the mat. Make sure your left shoulder is over your wrist. Then we'll flip it around and grab a pigeon pose. Right knee behind the wrist, left leg long behind you. Feel free to modify and take a figure 4 instead, seated or on your back. You want to feel sensation but not pain. Even the weight out in your hips. Two more breaths. Slowly walk your hands back towards you. Slide your right knee more towards the center of your mat and your left knee up behind your right knee. Kick your feet in opposite directions and take a seat back. So you're in Gomukhasana with the right leg on top. Could lift your hips again and use your hands to stack the knees more. Now a few options with the arms. You could take right arm up and over, left arm down and under. You could eagle wrap. That's kind of the theme of our class, so I'm going to do that. Try to sink your right hip crease down. You can stay there or even round forward. For me, as I start to round forward, my right hip crease likes to lift, so I'm going to stay upright. There's so many options here. You could also grab your feet. You could walk your hands forward. Wherever you are, make your breath a priority. And release that. Now you'll bring your knees forward, hands forward, same way you got out. Step your left foot back and your right foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, come up. Exhale, low belly squeeze, downward facing dog. Big breath in. And exhale. Lift your left leg up behind you. Step your left foot forward. Come up, warrior one. Inhale. Square off your hips. Less grip with your toes. Bind your hands behind your back. Opposite grip if you remember. Inhale, chest lift. Exhale, lead with your chest, humble warrior. Hips a little right, torso a little left. Soften your jaw between your eyes. Keep sinking your hips for 3, 2, 1. Inhale up and exhale around to the front, I guess, of your mat, warrior two. Your right knee is bending. Push the knees away from each other. Flip your right palm, reverse. And exhale, side angle. Avoid dumping into the right side. If you were to lift your right elbow, your body shouldn't really change shape. So you're using mostly your legs, your core. Top arm can extend. Left hand maybe to your waist, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Right hand can go mat or block. Open up your hips. Stack your hips and your shoulders. Pull your belly button back and flex your left foot. Both legs nice and active. Push the big toe mound of your right foot down. 3, 2, 1. Bend your right knee, take a long step back. Skandasana at the back of your mat. Bend your left knee and flex your right toes. You can open up your arms again, wrap, bind. Make sure your right leg's nice and active, so you're not just melting into the pose. You want to still feel some action here. Firm up your thigh muscle for 3, 2, and 1. Release your bind, pivot around to the back of your mat. Frame your left foot, runner's lunge. Wiggle your left foot out a little bit and reach both arms up, high lunge, crescent warrior. Eagle wrap your right arm under your left arm. Use mostly your left leg. See if you can drag your right leg up behind you as you come up to stand on your left leg. Right knee in front. Eagle wrap, right leg up and over. Single wrap, double wrap. And then make sure you tug your right hip crease back. Sink your hips. Drop your elbows towards your knees, round your back. Look down at your mat. Do your best to keep your arms as long as you can. Unwind your legs. Dive your eagle beak towards the floor. I like to point the right toes, squeeze the low belly, little twist to the left. At any point, feel free to put your hands on the mat. Otherwise, elbows a little bit forward, fold, and eventually place your hands on the mat, standing splits. Step your right foot behind your left foot and walk your hands to the left. Just a nice little release, relax. And walk your hands back through center. Uncross your feet. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. And your hands to heart center. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Figure 4. Sink your butt back. You should feel a nice stretch on your outer left hip. Now, same options. Grab your big toe or your knee, or take it up tree pose. For a big toe, regular or modified, you'll grab the right side of your waist. For a tree pose, you can go hands heart center or reaching your arms up. Wherever you are, think about scooping your tailbone towards your right heel. Feel a gentle lift through the crown of your head. One more breath. Bring your left leg through center. Your right hand will either grab your knee or the outer edge of your foot and twist to the left. Feel your left hip sink. Expand your collarbones. Strong standing leg for 3, 2, 1. Release your grip, take a step back. Make sure you line your right heel up with your left arch. We're set up for reverse triangle. Big reach with that right arm. Back through center. Find length first and then go down. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Chest expand, reach through your fingers. Again, if you're dumping, walk your hand up more. Grip less with your toes, stay there, or extend your top arm for 3, 2, 1. Walk it over to the left, wide leg fold. Grab your feet or ankles this time around and pull. Shoulders away from your ears. Press through all 4 corners of your feet. Feel your arches lift. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk around to the front of your mat. Crooked monkey. Drop your back knee and wiggle your left foot out. Toes out, hand to thigh. Little melt of your hips forward. While you're here, think about what you did. So you either did tree pose, big toe pose, or modified big toe pose. Right hand or forearm on the mat. Roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Step into your side plank with whatever variation you did standing. Make sure your right shoulder's over your wrists. I like to add a little grip with the fingers. Stay there, or left leg lift and flip it over. Again, shoulders should be over your wrists. You can look at either hand. That will feel best on your neck. Push your spine in towards your heart and flip it right around for pigeon pose. Left knee behind left wrist. Again, feel free to modify in a figure 4. Right leg extending long behind you, top of your foot down. Take your time getting in. Few more breaths. Start to walk your hands back towards you. Slide your left knee towards the center of your mat. Slide your right knee up behind your left knee. Kick your feet in opposite directions and take a seat back. You can even shift forward again and then try to stack the knees more for Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Same thing you did with the arms. It'll be the left arm going up and over, right arm down and under, or eagle wrap, left arm on the bottom. You could also just grab your feet, walk your hands forward, whatever you did other side. Sink your left sitting bone. Breathe into those outer hips. And release your arms. Let's go ahead, shift forward onto your knees, hands down, step back, right foot, then left foot, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice big breath in. And an audible sigh. Drop down to your knees, camel pose, tops of your feet down or toes tucked. Fingers point down, nudge your hips forward. Inhale, lift your ribs. Exhale, lean back. If you have space, you could reach back for your heels. Keep pushing your hips forward. Drop your head back. Maybe a lion's breath here. Inhale. Tongue out. Release some heat. Slowly bring yourself back up. Hands down, round your back, counter stretch. Cat pose. Then you'll cross your ankles, drop your butt back to seated. Extend your legs forward, move your butt back. Here's our real nice counter stretch, Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Reach your arms up, cast a net over your feet and hinge forward. Inhales, you lengthen your spine, sternum forward. Exhale, folding. Squeeze your belly, firm up your thighs. With every inhale, you might feel more length. Every exhale, a little bit more depth. One more breath. Slowly walk your hands back towards you, bump your hips forward, and lie down all the way onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest and take a happy baby. Grab your feet or ankles, pull your shin bones down towards the knees, pull your tailbone towards the floor, and maybe rock a little bit side to side. Awesome. Release that grip. Cross your right leg over your left leg, kind of like eagle legs. Drop your knees over to the left and look to the right. Twist. Allow your shoulders to feel heavy. You could always do this with uncrossed legs as well. All right, slowly bring your legs through center, unwind those. Left leg over right leg. Take your knees over to the right and look to the left. Bring your knees back through center, unwind. Nice big squeeze, knees to chest. Then extend your legs. Allow your toes to flop out and your palms to face up. Wiggle your shoulder blades underneath you. Allow your heart space, your chest to feel open and relaxed. Notice where your thoughts are at. If they're off in the past, overthinking, maybe they're out in the future planning. And see if you can reel those back in with every exhale. And feel your thoughts get a little bit closer to the present moment. Maybe even finding some enjoyment in the stillness and the calm that you've created. Relax and enjoy your Shavasana. slowly start to bring some awareness back within the four corners of your mat. Notice the mat underneath you. Notice where your mind's at. Just gently tug it back. So often we're off in the past or the future. We are missing the present, even if it's not something super monumental. It's not all the time that we enjoy stillness and peace and calm. So take a moment to really absorb this moment. And take a big stretch, arms overhead. Hug your knees in and roll to your right or left side. And then gradually make your way to a comfortable seat. Take your time getting there. Relax your shoulders and sit up tall. And feel your breath, feel your energy. Notice the space you created. And notice now the awareness of your thoughts. Maybe you become more aware when your mind starts to wander. That's the first step. You tug it back. Gradually you'll start catching it nice and early. Maybe eventually you notice the mind wanders a little bit less, a little bit more present. You find more enjoyment being in the here and now than off in your head in the past and in the future. Bring your hands to your heart center. Take a big breath in. And let it go. Gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me and for allowing me to be your guide. Namaste. If you liked this class, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back next week. That's pretty much it. The best way to support my channel is subscribing. So if you haven't already, I definitely appreciate that. Share this with your family and friends who you think would enjoy this video. If you like my content, let me know in the comments. I try to read and respond to everything. If you are interested in working with me or want to see what else I'm up to, you can always visit my website. Those are in the descriptions. I will see you guys next week for another fun class.